When you stand in a field of tobacco, it can be a deceptively beautiful place. But what you can't see can kill you. Decades of pesticide contamination, polluted water, and nicotine poisoning. And if you're a migrant child, no chance to learn or hope for a better life. Indigenous Huichol families migrate from tiny mountain villages every year to work in the tobacco fields of Nayarit, Mexico. They live out in the open, one family under this tree, eking out no more than a subsistence living.
Their working conditions are the very worst possible. They live on the ground. The women put down 3 stones, and there they cook the beans and heat up the tortillas. They have no protection whatsoever. Recently, the Indians themselves asked their boss to bring them water because they used to take water out of the irrigation canals, and that was polluted with cattle droppings and pesticides.
Alfonso de la Cruz and his extended family together make about 50 cents per string of tobacco, a job that includes picking, sorting, drying, and threading. A long day's work.
They want to know what your life is like here. What do you get up in the morning?
At 6 o'clock.
And then what do you do at 6 o'clock?
I start threading the leaves on the stick.
And after that, what do you do after you eat?
We keep on working.
And do they pay you? Who do they pay?
My dad.
Tobacco in Nayarit is controlled by a small number of multinational companies. Philip Morris and British American Tobacco are the 2 major players. They set the prices and control every aspect of the deal.
For me, the most important thing is that the price be fair, because we're very badly paid. The workers aren't satisfied either. We can't pay them more. For 3 years, the prices have stayed the same. It isn't fair. We need a revolution to deal with this.
Most tobacco growers are simply middlemen, usually in debt to the company. They are responsible for the hiring of workers and application of pesticides provided by the company, chemicals they don't even know how to use.
They give us Ridomil, Acrovan, and other poisoning products. Not even the engineers know how to use them.
Many of these exported pesticides have been outlawed in the US and Europe for being too toxic. To the Huichol, the warnings on the packages of pesticides mean nothing. They don't speak or read English or Spanish. They speak Huichralica. In their culture, the skull is an image of the spirit. This language barrier carries a high price, a price paid by the children, whose small bodies absorb the chemicals far more rapidly and to disastrous effect. This child died of cancer after years of pesticide exposure.
We didn't know what was happening because people would come in with chronic problems of chronic poisoning, where even in cases of acute poisoning, the doctors often wouldn't relate it to the pesticides. The physician at the clinic just says it's a cold, and they prescribe aspirin because that's all they have. But it isn't a cold. These are symptoms of poisoning.
It is the peasants of Nayarit, the indigenous people, who are building the great wealth of the multinationals. I think that if we all made ourselves see how a cigarette is made, what cost goes into making a cigarette. If we were to take that cigarette apart, we would see that it's made of the canceled futures of these children.